All right, people, I'm going to be talking about the new GM plan. Sandro, Power Trucker Trade Sandro here on StockTwits. So let's take a look at the plan. Give me 1 second. So here's the GM plan, okay, dated for, this is the date of November the 23rd, okay, on a Thursday here. And so let's get to the plan, people. Now what I'm going to be doing, we're going to be talking about options and how to trade options, and I'm going to be showing that. We're going to be going over to an option screen where I'm going to explain these options. I made a misspelling. It says trading. It's supposed to be trading, not with the F, but you know what? I do these things quickly. But that's why but the key numbers and everything I'm going to explain. So here it is. I says GM is set up to test $37 to $38 a share. The January 34 calls are trading well and could gain 100 to 200% gains or more. So these options, these January 34 calls, if GM was to go quickly enough to the 30, let's say 37, 38, you're looking at, let's say we do that in 2 weeks, we'll say. It could be faster, but let's say you're looking at probably 200% gains. Now, if it took longer, now sometimes what happens is, why would we get 100% gains? Well, let's say GM just pops to 36 quickly and then kind of stalls. That'd be your quick 100. What you should do, and another thing another quick point I want to make about options. When you make 100% gains, let's say you buy 10 options. Okay, you decide to invest to buy 10 GM calls. Now, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to show that screen. But what I'm getting at is, if you would take half of your position when you make 100, then you hold the other half as runners for the 200. You never hold the whole thing, because things don't always materialize exactly. These are possible targets based on what I'm seeing. Okay, based on a lot of the chart patterns, a lot of different time frames I'm looking at. So what does GM need to do? GM needs to break above 34.15 on some good action volume. Now, good action volume is 1.4 million shares on a 10-minute chart. If the volume is less than that, then watch this base. Now, before I talk about the basing part, you have to understand that this needs volume. Okay, if we're going to take the earlier price point, we want to see volume accompanying it. If there isn't enough volume, then we watch it base above 34.15 and look for power above, and we'll look for power above 34.50. Okay, so the 34.15 is an earlier entry signal if we get the volume to come in. Okay, so let's talk about the options. Let me show you the options. Okay, let's head over to Yahoo Finance. We're going to look at General Motors. We're going to look at the options, people. The options that I'm talking about, and the one that I selected for you to make these gains. So we're going to the options, and I want to show you what they're trading for right now. Okay, and the reason why I'm telling you this is that you can. Now, what we'll do is, here we're going to select the screen over here. We're going to look at the January 20th calls. Okay. Now, this GM screen, when I'm using the Google browser here, it looks like that, but basically we're going to go to the 34 calls, right? So here are the 34 calls. These are January 20th 34 calls. There's 15,000 open interest right now in that. There's a lot more on the 34 calls. Look at this. There's a lot of trading happening. So if you wanted to take the 34 calls, 35 calls, you could use these as well, right? So what does this mean? This is January 34 calls. For the January 20th 34 calls. What does this mean? Well, right now, as it stands, they are trading at about a little under $1 a piece. That means you're controlling 100 shares of GM for $100. Okay, so if you buy 10 options, and that's if it's this price. Now, when this triggers, it could be worth about $1.20. Okay, so the price of the options are going to change, and of course, if this happens sooner, let's say if it doesn't happen for tomorrow, it happens on Monday or Tuesday, maybe they'll be worth about $1.20. And if this was to shoot up quickly to 36, you'd double your money. They'll probably be worth $2.20, $2.40. So keep in mind what the value is. I'm estimating that if it was to trigger on my numbers, you look at about $1.20. So wherever it triggers, let's say it triggered at $1.50, to double, it would have to be $3. Which would be $300, right, per option, right? So if you bought 10 options, and your average was $1.50, it'd be $1,500, okay, for the options. This is how you trade options. Now, you can't just trade options just by buying options. You need a plan, right? And again, that's why you're following my plans, right? Give me 1 second here. So here we are back at the GM chart here. I'm on the charts over here. So basically, go back to the beginning of this video to see the trigger numbers. But the key is to wait for confirmation. Okay, that's how you trade options. Options, here's the problem with options. We don't have time. We don't have time to wait around. So if you want to make these great gains in options, right, you need to wait for the time for it to trigger, because we want to get into when there's action. Let me give you an example. I want to show you something here, people. This is where now this was a signal, believe it or not. But I'm not getting into it. But what the point is, let's say I said, an example, and this is where you'd make about 100% in two days. See this move here, right? The GM was 30.96, and a few days later, so it moved $3. This could have been actually a 200 to 300% gain. So let's say you had bought 31 in the money calls. Okay, let's say they're December. This move alone produced. So the reason why we want to wait for GM is GM might need to base around, but you know what? It could leave the station. That's why I'm making this plan, right? If it doesn't happen in time, what I'm going to do is obviously make an update. But I want you to understand that this is how you check for all this stuff. When you see my plans, right, you check for it. Again, this plan was based on November the 23rd. Okay, so there you have it. That's how you trade options. You need a good plan. You need a good you just can't buy. Options are great only if the stocks are in ready for motion, and that's what I do. It's breakout setups that are ready for motion, but we need to wait for the confirmation. When the stock is ready to move, they're going to move based on my target numbers, right? Based on my trigger numbers, right? So we want to go into that, right? Sometimes things don't materialize. You know what? You're going to have those times you're going to have to take a small loss, but most of the times, usually what happens is we're going to make small gains to large gains to small losses. This is how it works. Okay, and you buy the amount of options you can afford in your account. So if you can only afford to buy, let's say all you want to do is trade $500. Well, that may be 2 to 3 options, right? So you still got to. When you make 100%, you should be selling half of you should be selling half your options. Okay, and I'm going to be making some more videos to explain this. Okay, people. GM. So there you have it, people. A great way to make money in the market with options. Follow the plan, and don't forget to like the plan. And one more thing, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Power Target Trades. Okay, and then of course there's you see here that's a Power Trigger Trade on StockTwits and Power Trigger Trade on Twitter. But subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be making some unique videos. This is a new intro video I just made. Again, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making a lot of great videos, but this is a GM trade. I might have to make updates on it, right? So keep following the channel for more updates. Things don't trigger. Remember, wait for confirmation. Don't just buy GM just because I say it's a buy. We need to look for the volume. We want to get in with options when the stock's more in motion, right? Because sometimes, you know what, you could be holding options for just a few days. That's how you got to trade options. You have to wait for the trigger number. You need a plan of action. Options have one problem: time decay, right? So why be in a stock that's not moving? That's why you have to be this way. Hope you liked the video, people. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.